The relationship, the connection between antibiotic use in animals, farm animals, and humans is a very dotted line. It's not a straight line, because antibiotic resistance is a natural phenomenon. Bacteria will acquire resistance whether we use antibiotics or not. I mean, I remember reading an article many years ago where they had some kind of a animal they found in the North Pole, preserved under ice, for thousands of years, and they, of course, analyzed this animal and the contents of the stomach. They were actually recovered bacteria that were resistant long, thousands of years before antibiotics, as we know, were produced or even known. So antibiotic resistance is an issue, but what we do is not going to change the nature of antibiotic resistance really that much. What I am interested in, what I'm concerned is really the antibiotic abuse in the part of human health, human medicine. Because in many parts of the world, again, I travel quite a bit, many parts of the world, you could walk to a pharmacy and prescribe yourself an antibiotic and buy it on the spot. And this is the problem. And in the US, or in the Western world, I should say, most of the antibiotics are prescribed on a limited treatment basis. You will take 3 a day for 5 days, and they will count 15 pills and repackage an antibiotic prescription for you. In many countries, you walk in, buy the same prescription in a container of 50 pills, with the assumption that you will read the instructions and only use 3 a day for 5 days to treat your disease. In most instances, folks will take 3, 4 antibiotics, feel good, and stop. And that's how you develop the pressure for antibiotic resistance. I think that's the biggest challenge, is to limiting misuse and overuse of antibiotics. And then you got the issue, of course, folks taking antibiotics for everything. Whenever they feel ill, or when they don't feel right, they want an antibiotic because they feel like that's the cure, magic cure for all of their problems. So you got cases where antibiotics are overprescribed, misprescribed, or not prescribed at all, and folks could just walk in buy their antibiotics freely. In many countries I travel to, I could buy my own antibiotics without any prescriptions, which is and at a very low prices too. So they're subsidized as well. So that's part of their healthcare systems, to provide these medications, make it affordable for folks that don't have to go see a doctor. They could just go to a pharmacist and say, I don't feel good, give me that good antibiotic I heard my neighbor use and was very effective. I want some of that. And just get it. Well, I was just reading an article this morning, published in Nature. Now they're talking about antibiotics produced by bacteria naturally live on our bodies. So you don't have to feed antibiotics. The bacteria we have on us, for example, there's a specific type of a strain of staph bacteria in our noses actually produce an antibiotic that kills more pathogenic staph, which is Staphylococcus aureus. So bacteria is already antibiotics are bacterial products, natural products produced by bacteria. So as long as we have bacteria, we're going to have antibiotics. And as long as we have antibiotics, we're going to have antibiotic resistance. As I indicated earlier, there is no hormones to worry about. Antibiotics, no issues with antibiotics. They're not going to get antibiotics. They're not going to be exposed to antibiotics by eating chicken, and they're not going to be exposed to bacteria that could potentially be antibiotic resistant, because most of the time the product is going to be cooked. So the bacteria is dead. Dead bacteria can't transfer any resistance genes. So the likelihood of acquiring resistance from eating chickens is almost nil. And certainly likelihood of being exposed to antibiotics from chicken meat is extremely low. But we can't say that for chickens bought in the open market, farmer's market, because we don't know the background of those animals and when they were treated and whether they were properly withdrawn or not.